Hi guys, it is so awkward looking at a camera, I gotta tell you. I've been wanting to make some videos for quite some time. I have a massive list of topics that I wanted to touch on that people have been asking me, and I just figure it's easier to make one video, throw it out into internet land, and let everybody kind of research for themselves. But my schedule hasn't really allowed it, and so today I wanted to record this one video just because I've been getting so many questions. So right now I'm working at a local gym, and I also work with private clients as a personal trainer and health coach or nutrition coach. And I also have spent a couple of years working as a corporate health screener. So during that time I've met hundreds of people, and they always ask me, well, what do you think about this? What's your opinion on this? And I really don't want to just be another voice in the crowd, so to speak. So I thought I would maybe record this video. Hopefully it can help set the record straight as far as my perspective on different fads and diets and philosophies out there, but also help give some guidance for you guys who are looking at it for yourself and who may even be working with clients who are trying to answer these questions as far as what philosophies to go by, what program to use, if any, what lifestyle choices to make. So I've made a list of different points, and we'll just go down through them, and hopefully it can help you guys. So the first thing I wanted to share, it's actually a verse from the Bible, but it has a very overreaching principle. It just says that we should focus on truth so that we're not blown around by the wind of every new doctrine. And I think that's really fitting for today's society, especially in the health and fitness field, where there are so many different theories. One says that you should eat high fat, one says that you should eat low fat, one says that you should eat this much protein, the other says you should eat that much protein. And it just gets really confusing, and people are just wondering, well, what route do I go on, basically. So these next points are just some points that I thought would be helpful for anyone who's trying to make those decisions to help guide your choices. So the first thing is, be sure that whatever you do is science-based. So there are peer-reviewed studies and science magazines out there. I personally really try to present only the things that I can back up with scientific studies. Even if I don't directly quote those scientific studies, I want to be sure to have that in my background so that if anyone ever questions, hey, where did you get that from, I can show it. One good source out there, there's a website for the National Institute of Health here in America. It's I think it's nih.gov, and it has pretty much any scientific study that's ever been done. You can go on there and find the abstracts and so on. So I often go there and I look directly at the scientific source, or I will read articles and kind of look and see where have they gotten their information from. And the ones that I trust the most are going to be the ones that go directly back to those scientific studies so I can read them myself. So really kind of look at the things that are peer-reviewed with a good scientific foundation. That's really number one when you're working in the nutrition and health field. So the second point that I want to touch on is to watch out for conspiracy theories. I know that sounds a little bit funny when we're talking about health and wellness, but there are a lot of theories and fad diets out there that are on the premise that everyone's out to get us and there's a whole cover-up. And this really builds an atmosphere of distrust and kind of makes us all loners that we have to save ourselves. And I fully admit there's a lot of corruption in our world. There are a lot of wrong theories, and we do have to somewhat sift this out. But our whole premise for our choices should not be on the bad morals of somebody else. That just points us down a wrong direction from the get-go and is going to shape our decisions as we go along. And along with this, I would say that even those institutions which may have some corruption, whether it's government institutions or any other institution out there, we can still find good points to pull out. And whenever we start to look at somebody else as an enemy, we can already see that we're on a wrong road. So one other overarching principle that I would really recommend is to not try to just find studies or information that goes along with your current belief system. This is really, really key, that we have an open mind, because none of us know everything, and it takes a community, it takes more than one person to have the whole picture. So we really need to be open and balanced and really listen to what other people have to say, because maybe we will learn something from it, even if maybe they don't have the whole picture either. If we work together as a team, then we can find something that's sustainable for everybody. So another really important point that I want to mention is to really avoid cure-alls. Nature and our health and our bodies are, I would call them symphonic. It means that it takes more than one aspect to achieve the whole goal, or to play the whole piece of music, so to speak. And our health is made up of a myriad of vitamins and minerals and macronutrients and micronutrients and lifestyle choices and mental habits. It's not going to be fixed or even hindered by just one element. So whenever a diet or philosophy says that's the bad guy, we have to just avoid that and all of our problems will be solved, or that's the good guy and if we just eat tons of that, then all of our problems will be solved. Anytime that this is the premise, we can see that something is off. There may be some truth to their points, but we can't just jump off the deep end and say that's going to be my cure-all, or this is going to be the thing that I avoid and it will solve all of my health issues. Just a practical example of this is, let's just imagine that you're trying to work out and you only exercise your right bicep. Well, at the end of a year of exercising that right bicep, you'll be able to lift probably 100, 150 pounds with just that right arm, but is that really health? Are you going to be able to run when you need to? Are you going to be able to have the dexterity to do fine motor skills? We need to use all of those muscles in our body. And likewise, we need all of the nutrients that our body needs, not just one. So along with that is the principle that we should avoid one-man shows. Often there are diet programs out there, or health programs out there, that kind of look to one doctor or one individual as a guru in that area and kind of push aside the knowledge that's generally accepted in society. And a lot of times the problem with this is that it's often a marketing ploy. You'll see programs that are named by this doctor or named by this individual. You'll see supplements. You'll see this and that way for them to essentially make money and for you to pay that money. But there's no real teamwork with a larger group in the scientific community. It's just that one person who's kind of put on the pedestal, and every health choice of their followers has to go through them in order to be approved. Often these programs are really restrictive as well. And I want to go back to, it's another Bible verse that I grew up learning, but I think it's very, very fitting here. It just says, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, everything should be established. In other words, don't just go off one person. Truth is something that is going to be known by more than just one individual. And when a health program focuses on just one individual as the only person with that knowledge, this is a really dangerous thing, because it breaks down our own individual desire to learn and study for ourselves, and it breaks up the trust between us and others. So the next point is really important, really, really important. You will probably hear out there in the health world nowadays about diet culture, and this kind of goes along with that. We need to avoid things that are just trying to get a short-term result, because in reality, it's not going to be a lasting effect. So if you're trying to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, for example, this is a short-term result, but it is not sustainable. It is generally recognized that we don't want to lose more than like 1.5 to 2 pounds maximum per week. So any program that is promising such short-term weight loss is really giving a red flag as far as the sustainability of a lifestyle over the rest of your life. And along with this, any of these programs that you look at should never compromise your overall health. For example, if it's a diet program that's going to spike your cholesterol or your blood pressure, or that's going to put you into such a stress mode that you're going to make yourself even more sick, it's not going to be something that's sustainable for you long term. So that brings me to the next point, which is we need to focus on sustainable habits. So health is for a lifetime. We don't just want to have health for, let's say, 6 months when we diet and then go back to our unhealthy ways. That's not the aim of life. We want to be healthy so that we can be a service to society, so that we can be there for our family, so that we can enjoy life till the end of our life. And hopefully that will be many years, not just a short-term thing. And so in diet culture, there is a lot of restriction often. You can't eat this, you must eat this. And I'm here to say that restriction is not the way to go. It is not sustainable. If we feel that we are deprived of something, then we will binge as soon as we get the opportunity, as soon as our willpower gives out. Any sustainable program is going to give a better option to replace anything that has to be left away. So for example, if you're deciding to give up white sugar or white flour, then any sustainable program that you go to is going to have good replacements for those things to not make you feel deprived. So you'll maybe have a healthy smoothie or a healthy cookie recipe that doesn't use those ingredients which are harmful to us, but which still satisfies our hunger. And finally, with this point, a sustainable diet is never going to lead us to have feelings of guilt or of restriction. Any sustainable program is going to lead us to feelings of freedom and of happiness, knowing that we're doing what's best for our body, what's best for ourselves, our family, and society in general. So my final point is that we should look for paths of respect. You might not think that this would play into our own personal health choices, but it really does. For example, I personally eat a plant-based diet. However, even in this plant-based culture, I guess you would say it, there are two camps. There are those who basically think themselves better than others, and then there are those who say, I choose this way and it is scientifically backed, but everyone has freedom. And this I really want to emphasize. I really try to stay in that latter category, that I fully respect other people's decisions. We are all free to live, to eat, to work out, to do whatever we want to do according to our own conscience. And none of us has the freedom to push our conscience and our beliefs on somebody else. Ultimately, we all have to live with our choices, whether they're good or bad. And another text that I grew up learning was, don't judge someone because they eat this or they don't eat this, because we each have to live according to our own conscience. And if we can each stand and say, I am living according to what I know is good for myself and for others, then what else can we ask for? And I think we need to give each other the freedom and the respect to make those choices for ourselves and not be condescending on somebody else because they're not doing the things that we think are right. So the bottom line for me personally is that I really want to give you guys scientific, reasonable, evidence-based information. And I also want to give you my own personal experience, how that is put into practice in life. But I never want somebody to do something just because I say it, just because I have letters behind my name, just because I've been plant-based for so many years, or just because I can tell you certain facts. I really want you to do things out of your own conviction and because you have studied it out for yourself. So I really encourage everyone who watches this, whether it's one person or 50 people, I really encourage you to go out and study for yourself. And if you have questions, definitely ask me, and I will be happy to point you in whatever direction I can to find a science-based answer. And I hope that this video helps answer some of the questions and helps you to navigate through this chaos that's in the diet and health industry right now. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.